Hello YouTube, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. So welcome back to another Forex weekly outlook. I hope you guys had an incredible month of May. The month of May for me personally, it was one of the best months that I've ever had in trading. It's been like that for the past couple months. It's just been, each month has been, very solid. But this month of March, it was just beautiful. We had a lot of trades that we called on the private group as well. So, a lot of students did very good this month as well. We had a few that passed, I think the first one, I think it was 3 or 4 students that, they kind of showed me that they had passed their phase 1, 2. So, and we just kicked off the month of June. Actually we just kicked off the month of June on the right foot. So we just had a couple winners. Yesterday we actually called this beautiful sell on EUR-USD. I think you guys can see right here the screenshot, right? The trade was sent like beforehand for the students. So it was just a beautiful trade. So if I quickly do a breakdown, just a very real quick, as far as we can see, price actually tapped on this daily demand zone, right? So usually when price taps at my daily demand zone, I like to wait for an hourly change of character. So we waited for 4-hour change of character. That's what price gave us. So usually, sometimes we don't like to wait, especially as an intraday scalper. We don't like to wait all the way for price to come back, because sometimes we can get a violation, right? Sometimes you don't know the news, and sometimes price can just come and get a violation. So usually we like to ride. Also, we like to pro trend and counter trend, right, when the opportunities and all the confirmations show up, right? So we can be a high probability counter trend. So in this one particularly, because we had a 4-hour change of character to the upside, we usually, as the first sign of 4-hour pullback toward its POI, we like to wait for 15-minute change of character, at least M15 change of character. So what we did is I dropped down quickly to M15 time frame. So once price got here, we can see that, okay, price gave us this high, this low, and then we had this high. Then we had a change of character right there on M15. So I said, okay, we don't want to place a limit on M15 POI. Just to increase the probability, we might just as well drop down to lower time frames. So that's when I went to M30 time frame. We wanted to see our liquidation first. So we had the liquidation, price failed to close above. This is a great sign of bullish sentiment in the market in depletion right here, because price failed to create a high. So this could have been also the mitigation of some sort of supply sitting at the previous M15 high. So we had the break of structure right here. This was the first entry, right? But we usually like to enter with a double confirmation. So we had this second break, and this right here was the point of interest that I sent on the group right there. So you guys can see right there the screenshot. So then my students actually were, they already know how we enter on the 5 seconds. So a lot of people, a couple of students were able to get on the 5 seconds with a beautiful 1 pip stop loss. And if I come back to M15, it's currently running at, because the idea is to bring price to just to ride the 4-hour pullback towards its POI, and then we have that bullish continuation to the upside. So currently it's running at about 1 to 70 risk to reward ratio. It's supposed to come all the way down to 1 to 90, 1 to 88. So yeah, that was just the idea behind the trade. It's a very powerful concept, right? Sometimes we catch the trade here, sometimes we'll catch the trade here. I was actually about to take this trade as well, but what happened is that I happened to calculate the lot size at the last minute, right? So I didn't personally take this one, but it was just like the other ones that we take, just keeping that consistency. So yeah, that's it, guys. So okay, enough for the breakdown. Let's start the outlook. Now, EUR-USD, let's start from the daily time frame real quick. And so if we look at what's going on with EUR-USD, we can clearly see that the structure is bullish, right? The daily time frame just gave us these 2 breaks of structure to the upside. We actually had a change of character once price tapped this yearly bullish order block. So we're seeing that the high time frame intention is bullish, the bias is bullish, right? So once price taps at my daily demand zone, what I like to see as a confirmation of bullish continuation to the upside is a 4-hour change of character. So we come here, we can see that price gave us a very clean 4-hour change of character right here. So we had the break of structure. So now price is doing its pull back towards its order block, and we possibly may see price actually tap here, and we have a continuation to the upside. So because this is a 4-hour, I mean, you can set your limit order right here. If you know, let's say you have a 9 to 5, you don't have time to be on the charts, you can set a limit order here. But I would recommend you to wait for M15 change of character once price comes into the POI, before you even drop down to M1, because this POI is huge. Like the range of this POI is huge. So sometimes you can get a lot of false confirmations on the lower time frame. So it's way better to wait for M15 to give it that first sign of bullish intention by giving you an M15 change of character, and then we can continue, we can drop down to lower time frames and have that bullish continuation to the upside. So right, so the confirmation, the intention on the 4-hour has been shown right here. We have the change of character, that's what we wanted. And then now we're just waiting for price to come back here, and then we wait for M15 change of character, and then we have a continuation to the upside, right? So that's it for EUR-USD. Let's move to the next pair. So Aussie dollar, we can just quickly start from the weekly time frame. I mean, I think the weekly time frame is just absolutely clear. I mean, we just have these two beautiful bearish order flow right here on the weekly time frame. So price just came into this supply zone, used the previous highs inducement, failed to close above, so that's a sign of bullish sentiment in the market and depletion. Then we had this huge push to the downside, creating the change of character within this weekly range. So this price actually came to this above around 50% of this range high and low. So we drop down to the daily, we can see the price actually had mitigated the daily supply zone. So right here, let me just quickly see it. So we have the daily, price actually came to this daily supply zone. Then, right, we had the second break of structure. So now we have the second two breaks of structures on the daily. That's a confirmation of bearish order flow transition, that we have transitioned from bullish to bearish. So the weekly is bearish, the daily has also turned bearish. So price just came to this daily supply zone. This point of interest actually refined on the 4-hour. I think it was an 8-hour time frame. So yeah, that's this blue candle, and we can see that we had imbalances sitting above. So this is the hourly, the 8-hour supply zone. So usually when price comes to my hourly supply, I want to have an M15 confirmation, right, as the first sign, as the sign of bearish continuation to the downside. So once price tap this, we can drop down to M15 time frame. So we can wait for our confirmation. So if we read the structure quickly on the M15, we can see that, okay, we had this previous structure high, then we had this low, before price finally made this high with this break right here. And we can see that with these wicks, this actually was the news, but price failed to close above. So our swing, solidified structure is still this high, and we had this low. Price just broke below that previous structure low. So right here we have an M15 change of character. This is what we need right here. So we can see that, okay, this right here is our M15 change of character. Now, as far as we can see, and there is the price action is efficient here. We don't have a very clean order block to look for. So what I usually look for, I will actually wait for price to come back, right, to mitigate whatever it wants to mitigate at this range high and low, and then give me the second break of structure. So once I have the second, usually we may have a very clean second break of structure with a very clean order block. So far, I'm just going to wait for Aussie dollar to pull back and then give me the second M15 break of structure to the downside, so we can look for selling opportunities on the lower time frame. But what we needed first is that M15 change of character, and we just had it. So we just had the bearish intention right here confirmed. So we just need the second break just to confirm the order flow on the M15 as well. right? So that's it for Aussie dollar. Let's move to the next page. Now GU, we can just quickly look at the daily time frame. So this has been the point of interest that we've been looking for a while. We wanted to see price come into this week, so we can see that this week actually grabbed liquidity from the previous candle's low before it pushed to the upside. So technically this was the last point of seller's exhaustion before buyers came in, pushed the body up, right? So this and we saw this build up of liquidity right here. So price just came, grabbed liquidity. We expect him to see a continuation to the upside. So we had a demand mitigation, so this demand zone has been respected. We dropped down to the 4 hour because we need to see that 4 hour change of character. So price just came here. If I use the 8 hour, I think it's much cleaner. Yeah, that's right. So price just gave us, once price taps our daily, we already know we need to wait for the hourly change of character. Price gave us this beautiful 8 hour change of character to the upside. We have this order block right here that still was left unmitigated. So we're waiting to see price actually coming down into this order block. We have our M15 change of character, and then we buy all the way to the upside. So once price taps this 8 hour demand zone, I'll be waiting for M15 change of character, so then I can look for bias continuation, all the way to the upside. So that's it for GU. Let's move to the next pair. New Zealand dollar, similarly like Aussie dollar, I mean the weekly is just visible right here. We can clearly see the intention that it's been bearish, right? We're waiting to see price actually came to this extreme supply zone. We can see that we had this previous high, then low. Price created a new high, but it failed to close above. Great sign of bullish sentiment in the market losing strength. Then the sellers came in aggressively, gave us the change of character. So price came into this point of interest. This is actually the daily or the block right here that I was able to refine it. So we had these two breaks of structures even on the weekly. It's visible right here. So that's the confirmation of bearish order flow transition, that we have gone from bullish to bearish right here. So we have this weekly point of interest, and I was able to refine this one to the daily because we have a ton of imbalances sitting above. So we can see this huge amount of imbalance sitting above. So usually, because this is the daily break of structure to the upside, we're expecting to see price coming back all the way to this daily, and then we have a continuation to the downside. So what do we wait for? What's the first thing we need to wait for? That's clearly it. 4 hour change of character. We need to see price give us that 4 hour change of character to the upside to confirm that the daily is ready to do a pullback towards its supply zone, and then we have a continuation to the downside. So we drop down to 4 hour time frame. So if we see, we just read the structure, we can see that we had this previous structure low, this high, and then this low, right? And then price ended up breaking that low. It created this previous structure low. Now price just gave it this beautiful 4 hour change of character to the upside. So this is the first sign that the daily is ready to do a pullback towards its supply zone sitting above. So where's the order block right here? We can use this tool. Let me just go to 8 hour. We have this beautiful candle right here. So we can just say, okay, this right here is our order block. So that's the POI that I'll be looking for. So we have the hourly change of character. Once price taps this hourly, we will be looking for M15 to also give us that bullish, the sign of bullish intention, right? We want to have that bullish intent. So we're going to wait for M15. It can be M30 as well. So we want to have M30 change of character to the upside before we drop down to lower time frames such as M3 or M1, and we look also for the change of character so we can buy all the way up. So this is the best way that you can counter trend New Zealand dollar towards the daily supply zone. So if you don't want to wait for price to come to your daily supply zone, right? So that's it for New Zealand dollar. Let's move to the last pair. So our last pair is UJ, and UJ is clearly visible. Let me just quickly go to weekly. So if we look at the weekly, we had this break of structure to the upside. This order block was left unmitigated. Price actually created a pullback before it broke structure, but this pullback was this low was a weak one because it didn't mitigate this order block. So we can see the price came aggressively, right? If it ended up taking that low, came aggressively to this demand zone, and now we're seeing that push towards this weekly high. So once price taps our weekly demand zone, we want to wait for daily change of character, and also the daily bullish order flow to be confirmed. So we drop down to the daily time frame. So we could quickly drop down to the daily time frame. We can see that we had this break, mitigation of this order block, and then we have the second break. So right here, the bullish order flow has been confirmed on the daily time frame. So we have the two breaks of structure, and we have this order block sitting above. So if I look at an order block right here, pretty much everything has been, efficient. We had this break, price mitigated, break mitigated. I would say that maybe this one right here at the extreme, but as of now, I'm actually looking to see some reaction at this this decisional order block, because it left a ton of imbalances below. So when we have this daily push to the upside, we're usually waiting to see price give us that hourly confirmation on lower time frame that, okay, daily is ready to do a pullback towards its demand zone before we have the continuation to the upside. So if I drop down, for example, to 2 hours time frame, we can see that at first price actually showed us that that intention, right? If we read the structure, we can see that we had this previous structure high. Let me just delete this. We can use the brush, so we can see that we had this previous structure high, this low, and then this high. So we can see the price actually even attempted to come back and break above, but it failed. It didn't close above. So that was the bullish sentiment in depletion. That's why we had this huge weak rejection of higher prices. So then we had the break right here. So price broke structure, it came back, broke structure again. It came to a demand zone right here. So we also have an eye on that one. Price actually that now came all the way to this demand zone, this supply zone sitting above. So this point of interest right here, you may be wondering like why did I choose this point of interest? This actually was refined on M15. So if I go back to M15 time frame, we can see that we have this one right here. And the reason why this is a very significant one and not this one right here is because this is considered a strong high, because it grabbed the previous structure high, right? It liquidated the previous high. Then we have this V-shaped recovery, this aggressive in and out, right? And then it went on to take this low. So usually this is a liquidation point of interest. So we're waiting to, that's why we're seeing this first reaction at this zone, and we're expecting to see price continue all the way down to grab these lows right here, right? So price just tapped this. I will consider this to be an hourly, although it was refined on M15. It's still an hourly point of interest. So if we drop down to M15, we're on the M15. Usually when we have these points of interest, we could drop down to M3 time frame, but it's much better to wait for an M15 change of character right here. So if I look at this, we can see that, okay, we had this demand zone. Price actually came back and attempted to push to the upside, but now we're seeing that price actually coming with aggression, right? So I'm still waiting to see a clean M15 bearish order flow right here, so I can sell all the way down to the daily demand zone that we have. All right, so that's the quick breakdown right here that you guys have for the next week. I hope you guys have an incredible month of June. And if you guys enjoy the market outlook, guys, just hit the like button for me, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you guys are willing to join our mentorship, the Signals group, my contact is on the description box below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.